Airlines adds Lusaka and Harare to its new route map. While Minister Minsa Kalanda announces the KCCA interim executive will be announced in 24 hours. And NRM Secretary General camps in Lango as rift between Acheng and Omongi threatens NRM unity. Hello once again. President Yoweri Museveni and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces has advised retired generals to invest their retirement packages in durable assets other than gambling. While presiding over a ceremony for retirement of 5 UPDF generals at State House in Entebbe, the president said he persuaded government that the soldiers had over the years worked for no or low pay and that now they are to retire, and that now as they retire, there was a need to ensure that they do so with a reasonable package.
Uganda People's Defence Forces have held a ceremony of retiring 5 generals at State House in Entebbe. The ceremony was presided over by the Commander-in-Chief, UPDF, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who advised them to invest their retirement packages wisely.
So that retirement package is very good for you. No, don't gamble. That's what Okidingo was telling you. These quacks, I want to put money here, it will produce money quickly, what? Go for things which are durable.
The Minister of Defence and Veteran Affairs, Honorable Jacob Oboth, highlighted the military's pivotal role in moulding individuals. He praised President Museveni's visionary and strategic leadership, which has propelled Uganda forward, particularly the UPDF beyond national borders.
Right now is one of the best respected, organized, professional army, not only in Africa, but in the world, one of the best. So we thank you for helping us, to deploying us to be part of the best of the best.
The Deputy Chief of Defence Forces, Lieutenant General Sam Okiding, emphasized that retirement is not a new concept, acknowledging the support from spouses and children to the retiring generals.
It has been a journey with all situations, rough, smooth, average, but finally, we can say here we are.
Speaking on behalf of the retired generals, Major General Silva Kayemba praised President Yoweri Museveni for the leadership and guidance which has elevated Uganda and the Uganda's People's Defence Forces to global recognition. He also asked their families to be accommodative as they adjust back into this life, given their type of work and service.
Your Excellency, as I retire today, allow me to inform you that out of that intake, where we are 350, it has been only me and General Katumba still serving in active service. And today, I leave General Amara as the sole representative, and I wish him the best.
The retired generals included Major General Silva Kayemba, Brigadier General Christopher Kasaija, Brigadier General Charles Chisembo, Brigadier General Godard Businje, and Brigadier General Fred Karara. I'm Nafka Farida, reporting.
And the First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, has called upon the youth to invest their time and effort to gain practical skills that will help them earn a living and contribute to the development of their country. While opening the 7 days National Youth Convention at National Leadership Institute Chankwanzi, the First Lady said the youth leaving the country for other countries for greener pastures will not help address the problems in Uganda.
Do this. Is their first time?
331 youth across the country are participating in the 7th National Youth Convention organized by Uganda Youth Forum and Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity at the National Leadership Training Institute at Kiteezi. The youth have been equipped in topics that include leadership and vision, living purposeful life, sexuality in modern world, and also empowering them to build safer communities. The First Lady and patron of Uganda Youth Forum, Janet Museveni, expressed disappointment with youth who leave their country to look for greener pastures where they are mistreated and exploited.
Of labor migration that we currently face as a nation, it truly, truly burdens my heart. We have many young people who are in search of what they see as a better future. They are taken into modern slavery in nations that devalue and dehumanize them while robbing them of all their dignity. This trend amongst the youth can only end if we all purpose to love our nation, live here, be proud to be Ugandans.
One of the participants, Kiteezi Janet, is a victim of mistreatment in a foreign country, Jordan, where she served as a housemaid.
So when he was coaching, he was going to shoot me. Then the father told him, they started arguing in between them. It was like, I don't want you to bring Brad here.
The patron Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity, Justice Mike Chibita, stressed the importance of discipline that has been inculcated in this youth by the army, emphasizing the issue of ethics and integrity.
Ethics and integrity, honest work and honest labor and honest. Never try to take something which is not yours. Don't dip your fingers into somebody else's pocket.
The youth have also been taken through the 5 areas of cultivating patriotism. I'm Nafka Farida and Abdunasir Wama in Kiteezi.
Well, Cabinet has lifted the lead on the eligibility for the beneficiaries of Parish Development Model Funds, opening doors for leaders on Local Council 1 and 2. In a media briefing on the most recent cabinet decisions, the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Rhda Ngonzi, said henceforth local council leaders are allowed to borrow from the PDM pockets, invest in profitable ventures to enhance on their earnings in addition to their monthly allowances.
In 2022, Government launched the Parish Development Model Project with the sole aim of providing financial muscle for the poor to engage in profitable ventures that can resultantly catapult them into the money economy. Initially, the list of beneficiaries targeted persons in the categories of vulnerable, poverty-stricken, landless, and the unemployed Ugandans. However, while attending a public event in Masindi on Friday last week, a section of local council leaders sought the President's directive that they too are adopted on the list of the beneficiaries.
It was raised by the President that he had been requested by local council leaders, LC1s and LC2s, when he was in Masindi. They were not sure whether they should benefit from the parish development model or not.
Now, days later, the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Rhda Ngonzi, says leaders on local councils 1 and 2 have a reason to smile because their request has been approved.
Because we don't pay them a salary. They just get a modest allowance, a monthly allowance of 10,000. Because the earlier guidance had been that LCs will not be considered for the PDM resources at parish level. But Cabinet came up with a fresh guidance that LC1 as well as LC2 leaders are eligible to apply. They are free to apply for the PDM funds and are also considered as as part of the beneficiaries.
Minister Baryomunsi, however, cautions them to resist the temptation of borrowing beyond the 1 million shillings threshold, as it is not discriminatory.
But again, for emphasis, this money is to enable you to engage in enterprises which are profitable, that can make you get out of poverty. It's not for pressure, personal pressure. It's not for other things.
In the same breath, government has passed a policy on business process outsourcing, an arrangement that permits organization, both government or private, to outsource for services.
For instance, an organization in Kampala can employ somebody in Karamoja or in West Nile to provide a service, and he or she provides it from Karamoja or West Nile without physically locating where he or she has gotten the employment opportunity.
If implemented, this policy is to scale down statistics of labor externalization and its related challenges.
And Uganda Airlines has today added 2 new routes on its map, marking 16 routes now served by the airline. The new routes are to Lusaka, Zambia and Harare, Zimbabwe. The launch event at Entebbe International Airport was attended by government officials, diplomats and representatives from the Zambian and Zimbabwean communities.
Uganda Airlines has added Lusaka and Harare as Route 15 and 16 on its route map. These services, operated using the CRG 900 aircraft, eliminates lengthy layovers in neighboring hubs and reduces travel time between Uganda, Zambia and Zimbabwe by more than 6 hours. The flag-off event at Entebbe International Airport was attended by Finance Minister Ndere Cultural Centre, Consul to Zimbabwe Fred Mwesige, among other dignitaries.
Our countries, bound by the Pan-African spirit, have been strong supporters of each other in the pursuit of peace, development and regional integration. From our participation in the liberation of struggles to our contribution to regional organizations like COMESA, the African Union, the East African Community, Uganda and Zambia and Zimbabwe have always committed to each other's prosperity and progress.
Minister Ndere Cultural Centre emphasized the importance of unity in Africa, saying that initiatives like these bring the continent closer.
Why should I go with the passport to Zimbabwe? Why? Kitambulisho tu. Finished. We are struggling here in East Africa, as you know. We had built the East African community. We were virtually one state, but some leaders did something differently.
On her part, the Zimbabwean High Commissioner praised the expansion as a bridge that would strengthen ties and foster great integration between Uganda and Zimbabwe.
Yeah, because usually our flights is Lusaka, Harare, even KQ, even Ethiopia, Lusaka, Harare. So we are Siamese twins with Zambia. So it's good. I want to thank you, Tatenda, Siabonga, We Valenyo.
The CEO of Uganda Airlines, Jennifer Nturaki, appreciated all the stakeholders that played a huge role on making these routes possible.
To the members of Parliament, thank you for keeping us alert to make sure we spend the public finances in the right way.
Now, President Museveni has instructed the Ministry of Finance to secure a bailout for Ndere Cultural Centre. This announcement was made by ICT Minister Dr. Rhda Ngonzi during a press conference at Uganda Media Centre.
Dr. Rhda Ngonzi confirmed, following a presidential directive, that government will assist Stephen Ranjezi, the owner of Ndere Cultural Centre.
You've been seeing in the media that the Ndere Centre ran into financial troubles and the government has accepted to come in and rescue Ndere Center. The President has instructed the Minister of Finance to work out mechanisms how Ndere Center can be supported.
However, the specific conditions under which Ndere will receive this financial aid remains unclear.
I am not privy to the details about the discussions ongoing, whether it is to buy shares, and if so, how many shares. Those details I don't have, but I can confirm that the government has committed to support Ndere Center.
Situated in Chisasi, a suburb of Kampala, the Ndere Cultural Centre is vital for showcasing and preserving Uganda's cultural heritage. Earlier this month, it, along with two other properties owned by Ngonzi, was slated for public auction by quickway auctioneers and court bailiffs.
The facility itself is about 31 billion, and they want to auction it on a 4.6 billion loan. That's just crazy. But the banks were told by the president to put the customer in mind in their COVID bailout measures. The banks, instead of stopping interest, they just kept on, and then when the interest would grow, they would turn around and put it as if you borrowed it. So the person who borrowed 4 billion shillings ended up with 11 billion debt.
The financial crisis dates back to 2019, when Ndere Troop Limited aimed to broaden its business scope with ventures like Ubuntu Kado Hotel and Ubuntu Tourist Lodge. Unfortunately, these plans were significantly impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic.
As we do the gate collection, as people come to see us, they pay to the box office, buy tickets, and that money is used to sponsor people to school, to basically meet the basic needs of life. But it's not enough. If there is to be sustainability, there had to be a strategy that is to be laid so that when the hotels finally work and in the two areas, there is enough funds to take care of these cultural activities. So that was the strategy in borrowing the loan.
As discussions about the bailout continue, concerns linger over the future of Ndere Center and its impact on local employment and tourism business. Wadulo Makanold, UBC News.
African leaders have asked the World Health Organization, WHO, and the European Corporate Council on Africa and the Middle East, ECAM Council, to enhance cooperation for the development of the continent. The leaders, who included the President of Botswana, His Excellency Mokgweetsi Kabetswe Masisi, and Uganda's Prime Minister, Honorable Rhda Ngonzi, made the call during the European Corporate Council on Africa and the Middle East Council. This during the annual conference, this held in New York at the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly.
President Mokgweetsi Kabetswe Masisi of Botswana says that Africa needs enhanced cooperation will help African countries deal with current health challenges.
In this regard, I joined several African leaders earlier in the year in Paris to launch a planned $1.1 billion project to accelerate vaccine production in Africa and bridge the inequalities in access to vaccines.
Prime Minister, who was a special guest at the 6th ECAM conference, noted that Uganda has made significant strides in aligning its development agenda with the 2030 agenda, ensuring that no one is left behind as we pursue a more inclusive and sustainable future.
Our Vision 2030 aims to transform Uganda from a peasant economy into a modern, prosperous nation.
Nabanja acknowledged the contribution of AirCap and other partners in improving services, particularly in health, energy and education.
Our strategic priorities align with the global vision of a more inclusive, equitable and sustainable world. We look forward to strengthening partnerships with our European and Middle East counterparts to build a future where healthcare, education, sustainable agriculture and green energy are accessible to all.
The Director General of the World Health Organization, the Executive Chairman of the ECAP Council, Kamel Gibiri, stated that African countries must demonstrate the will and vision to achieve their intended objectives.
The will, the vision. And I say that New York is mean a lot to me, and I've been back and forth since 1993 to Washington, D.C. to New York. This is why I came forward to say why we cannot do something together to put people together, to put the rich, the middle class, the poor, and this is how we can get better life for everyone.
Edward Memerosen, the New York City Commissioner for International Affairs, expressed readiness to cooperate with Africa, especially in the area of climate adaptation.
First and foremost, climate action emerged as a pressing priority. African leaders are advocating for more climate financing and sustainable development solutions.
The European Corporate Council on Africa and the Middle East, ECAP Council, is a non-profit, non-partisan organization that promotes collaboration among leaders from Europe, Africa and the Middle East. I'm Nafka Farida reporting.
With that, we will take a quick break. When we return, more details. This is News Tonight.
We are at Shiloh Standard Nursery and Primary School to reward our lucky winner again for our pay school fees with Momo. We are paying school fees for a student who is lucky because the parent used our codes to pay their school fees. You can as well be our winner for the next school fees prize by dialing *165 *80# and you opt into the competition.
Umiatia goye shag no goye shimte lu agene kanti bisho kwana tena anene wa fo berane da kwani ba mi gum afu akwa yejo dushu meti kere mba man me ma fen MTM kiken ba mi gum hi man.
Together we're unstoppable.
Hey kids, we're going to count today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Enjoy 5 ways to love your baby, smoothen and protect your baby's skin with 5 new gentle formulations. Original to nurture your baby, aloe vera to protect your chibubu skin, cocoa butter to comfort your pinku, mild scent to soothe your little one, and avocado to soften your bunju skin. Available in all supermarkets, retail shops, and cosmetics shops near you. Move it, baby jelly. All day confidence.
To help businesses recover from the impact of COVID-19, government introduced a tax amnesty through a waiver of interest and penalty on outstanding principal tax as at June 30th, 2023. Accordingly, URA has since July 2024 been implementing this waiver. To benefit, simply pay your outstanding principal tax by December 31st, 2024 and the waiver is applied automatically upon payment confirmation. This amnesty applies to domestic taxes, namely income tax, rental tax, payee, and others. Grab this golden opportunity today. For more, use the platforms displayed.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. Operations at the Kampala Capital City Authority KCCA have come to a standstill following the dismissal of 3 key technocrats, including Executive Director Dorothy Kisaka, her Deputy David Luyimbazi, and Director for Public Health Daniel Okello. Kampala Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago has appealed to the Minister for Kampala, Hajat Minsa Kabanda, to expedite the appointment of an acting Executive Director as directed by the President to address the potential fallout in the city. He made these remarks while addressing the media at City Hall in Kampala.
The dismissals follow the findings of an Inspector General of Government report regarding the Kiteezi landfill disaster, which claimed over 35 lives. President Yoweri Museveni dismissed the KCCA officials in the public interest due to evidence of criminal negligence. Among those dismissed are Executive Director Dorothy Kisaka, Deputy Executive Director David Luyimbazi, and Director for Public Health Daniel Okello.
3 senior officials within the institution had been dismissed forthwith.
As the accounting officer, Dorothy Kisaka managed and facilitated all transactions of the authority. However, her dismissal has led to a halt in KCCA operations.
Management is not fully constituted as we speak. Yet they play a critical role in the functioning of the institution of KCCA.
In light of these events, Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago has emphasized the urgent need for stakeholders to convene and address the potential crisis facing the city.
Obviously, you know the functions and duties of the accounting officer. There are monies to spend, there are things to do of which require vetting and approval of the office of the Executive Director. So that's where we are now. So it's against that background that we have resolved to call an emergency stakeholder engagement tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. to address this impasse.
Key issues to be tackled include the procurement of land to resolve the waste management crisis.
Last matter is again the revelation that came out from the ministers. It was a shocking one. They said, by the way, there is no money to buy land. I said, come again? I asked the minister, did I hear you right? Come again? That yes, there is no money for purchase of land.
The Kiteezi landfill collapsed on August 10, 2024, resulting in significant loss of life and property. Justine Nakami.
And Minister for Kampala, Hajat Minsa Kabanda, has said that the names of the interim directors of KCCA will be announced within the next 24 hours. She says the interim caretakers of the authority in waiting are supposed to be selected from the already serving officers from within the authority in accordance with the KCCA laws.
On Tuesday, President Yoweri Museveni dismissed the top 3 directors at KCCA over negligence that led to the death of over 30 people. In August 10th in Kiteezi, the 3 top directors included the Executive Director Dorothy Kisaka, the Deputy Director Engineer David Luyimbazi, the Director Public Health Dr. Daniel Okello. The dismissal of the 3 was based on findings of the IGG report that implicated them of negligence that led to the August 10th tragic incident at Kiteezi that claimed over 30 lives.
The IGG was not satisfied with the happening in KCCA. According to people died in Kiteezi, around 35 people died, and there were several warnings that anything can happen anytime, so they do not react in time. According to the report, it says that warning came as from 2015.
The committee that led the investigation to the actual cause of the tragedy was instituted by President Yoweri Museveni.
We're here to commensurate with them, but most importantly, we're here to investigate One of our mandates is to ensure that public officers utilize public resources rightly, don't misuse them, but also don't misuse their offices.
Upon their dismissal, President Yoweri Museveni tasked the Minister for Kampala on advising on the interim appointments of capable persons. The Minister for Kampala, Hajat Minsa Kabanda, says that the names of the interim directors of KCCA will be announced within the next 24 hours in accordance with the laws governing the authority and upon thorough scrutiny.
By end of tomorrow, we shall announce those names, the 3 names replacing as acting directors of KCCA.
The persons to be appointed on the interim must have requisite qualifications and shall be selected from the officials from within the authority.
We are going to appoint someone from inside there to act for 3 months. Then afterwards, yes, today or tomorrow.
The 10th August Kiteezi landfill catastrophe put KCCA on the spotlight over alleged corruption. According to Minister Minsa Kabanda, apart from negligence, there have been allegations of mismanagement of funds and corruption that failed the timely decommissioning of Kiteezi landfill.
So many investors have been coming in KCCA to do something on garbage management, recycling and turning waste to energy, and they've been turning those investors around. So they did not do anything, yet they had wanted to assist us because we didn't have money to manage that garbage.
It's worth noting that the major plans to decommission Kiteezi landfill started as early as 2015. After the landfill surpassed its holding capacity, several acres of land were purchased in Dundu, Mukono, for establishment of a new modern landfill, but the project never kicked off. The National Environment Management Authority stopped licensing of Kiteezi landfill in 2020 following an assessment that cited potential environmental and health hazards.
2020, that's when we stopped further licensing of Kiteezi as a landfill because it had reached its capacity. So that's the measures we took by bringing it to the attention of the one responsible to decommission it, and indeed KCCA submitted a decommissioning plan which we endorsed.
Kiteezi landfill was established in 1996, serving as one of the largest garbage holding centers for Kampala and the metropolitan areas. Susan Naung and Ivan Juko reporting for ABC TV.
David Luyimbazi, the outgoing Deputy Executive Director of KCCA, has addressed President Yoweri Museveni's recent statement regarding his dismissal. This follows an investigation by the Inspector General of Government report into the Kiteezi landfill disaster. Luyimbazi stated that he is prepared to cooperate with the CID and face any investigation. However, he emphasized that a lack of resources contributed to the disaster, which resulted in loss of lives at Kiteezi.
The issue is that as KCCA, we needed to decommission Kiteezi over about 8 or 9 years ago. Due to lack of funds, we couldn't decommission Kiteezi. Had we decommissioned Kiteezi, this situation would have happened. The failure to decommission Kiteezi was a result of lack of funding, was because of lack of funding. It was not because of the laxity or failure to fulfill our duties as staff of KCCA. Treasury has limited funding as well. Many activities remain underfunded every financial year, amongst which was the decommissioning of Kiteezi and the securing of a new site for taking our garbage. As public servants, we have to submit to any investigation. If you're a public servant, you have to submit yourself to an investigation. And we shall, like we submitted ourselves to the IGG, where we made statements, we shall submit ourselves to any investigation in order to bring clarity to this issue. This is an issue where 35 or 40 people lost their lives. It is something where the public needs to know the truth. Where did things go wrong? If we failed, it will be established. I mean, where the failure was, the cross will fall. So, for me, I'm happy. There's going to be an investigation which will bring to closure who was at fault And our being dismissed is part of the process. And let's see where it ends.
And in brief, we bring you a few updates on the appointment of Dorothy Chisaka as the Executive Director, KCCA.
Dorothy Chisaka, a lawyer by profession, was appointed as the Executive Director of Kampala Capital City Authority on 12 June 2020 by His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni. Her appointment came after a year following the resignation of Jennifer Musisi Semakula, the then Executive Director of KCCA. She took over office from Andrew Chitaka, who had been in the acting position for over 1 year. Before being appointed to the position of the Executive Director, Chisaka had also served as one of the senior presidential advisors at the Office of the Prime Minister, where she was tasked with coordinating political and non-political actors to implement public policy. Following her appointment, the President further appointed Engineer David Luyimbazi as the Deputy Executive Director and Dr. Daniel Ayen as Director, Health and Environment. KCCA Executive Director and the Deputy are appointed by the President on the recommendation of the Public Service Commission, with the credit of designing the expressway and the Jinja New Bridge. Engineer David Luyimbazi was trusted with the capability of fixing the infrastructure mess in Kampala City.
Meanwhile, casual workers of Kampala Capital City Authority gathered at the Independence Monument in Kampala to welcome the move by President Museveni to dismiss the head of the authority and other two top officials. The workers attributed their jubilations to long-endured delayed wages and deteriorating working conditions under Chisaka's leadership.
By 8 a.m., casual workers of the Kampala City Council Authority had convened at the Independence Monument in Kampala. This gathering was not a typical meeting to plan the city's daily cleaning. Rather, it was intended to express solidarity and support for the President's decision to dismiss Kampala City Council Executive Director Dorothy Chisaka and two other officials. Many of them shared the hardships they had endured during Chisaka's tenure. Chisaka was appointed in 2020 by President Museveni in accordance with Section 17, subsection 2 of the KCCA Act 2010. However, since her appointment, Chisaka's administration has faced numerous challenges, including poor waste management, delays in payment of salaries for KCCA workers, and inadequate infrastructure in the city. The recent Kiteezi landfill collapse, which resulted in the deaths of more than 30 people and displaced many others, put KCCA in a difficult position and ultimately marked the end of Chisaka's administration.
Tuli mu bulumi ng'abakozi b'Nakawa naye tuli basanyufu nnyo olw'ekyo pulezidenti yatukoledde z'ensonga ze tubadde twemulugunyaako era twawulira ennaku ffe abamu n'abantu baffe baafiira e Kiteezi naye ng'era obuzibu bwava ku mukyalo oyo.
Following the dismissal of Dorothy Chisaka and other two top officials, President Museveni has directed the Public Service Commission to advertise for the vacant positions with the aim of appointing new leaders. With these reactions within KCCA, there is no doubt that the incoming leaders of KCCA will have to do a lot of work to fix its image. Nahoho Rashid Matselele, reporting for UBC TV.
Now, victims of the Kiteezi landfill tragedy have appealed to government to expedite their compensation, citing unbearable living conditions in the designated camps.
Victims affected by the Kiteezi landfill disaster are urging government to hasten the compensation process so they can leave the temporary shelters. They report that life in the camp has become increasingly difficult.
Ebbanga liseewo ly'omwezi ogumu ne wiiki zino ezigwamu wa wiiki 3 tetulabawo nnyo mbeera eyamba kubanga nti amazzi gye gali omwala tegunaba kukolebwako kugguka naye nga ekiriwo essaawa zino tusaba gavumenti ekole kisobola okukola kyonna okuyamba abantu baffe bukuba kubaliyirira ebaliyirire mu budde basobole okufuna we balaga ndanya okubeera mu kampu okumalayo ebbanga kubanga kisuubira nti tesobola kubabiza abantu mu kampu kumala bbanga lya myaka 2.
For months now, those who once worked at the landfill have become unemployed. Among them is a 65-year-old Najuma Nachitende, who is struggling to support her family.
Ekyakyusa obulamu kubanga era bagezaako okutuwa ebyokulya naye tebimala, abaana tebasoma, abaana batudde waka. Tetulina byakulya bitumala kati bawaaka bagamba ennyumba zaakubibwa naye kati fe abaali bakolerayo tetulina kyetwayambibwamu.
Era tebakyalabika, abamu bali eyo, abamu bali eri ku kisaawe. Banga kati fe tetulina wakugenda, tetulina na za rent, abamu bali eri mu gundi ku kisaawe eri.
According to local authorities, the camp is a home to 360 people, including 158 children, 129 women, and 73 men. However, some residents have complained that they were left out of the compensation process.
Fere twafuna buyambalo kwa twagana okugenda mu kampu. Batugana okutufaako oba okubanga batuyamba. Era enkola yaabwe yonna ffe tetugasizaamu.
Kati ate ffe abafiirwa ebintu ebingi nze nnyina abaana 8 so akusitula abaana bange 8 batwali ku kampu. Nkutta abaana bange mbatadde emukono n'akapooti akatonotono nti mugira mu muliro omuwe banfunye kyenfunye mbaleetire.
In a statement from the Presidential Press Unit, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni dismissed top Kampala Capital City Authority officials following an inspectorate of government report on Kiteezi landfill disaster, which cited severe oversight and negligence.
Bakikola kati kweno time bakiraba ebyo byonna bibaliko byaki kati bamanyi nti wane bagamba nti bakuddamu kuyiwawo kasasiro banti bagamba bafuna abantu awalala ekyo kiri oke basetinge wana abantu ne bana abantu bakuba mu mayumba bakoleki bafuna tewagenda okuya wali safe.
In August, the Kiteezi landfill collapsed, burying more than 30 people and displacing many others. Since then, Kampala and surrounding areas have been searching for alternative dump sites, leading to garbage accumulation in many parts of the city. Sada Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
With that, let's take a quick break. When we return, more details. This is News Tonight.
You used to tell me that I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
In the heart of Uganda, a financial revolution is happening. We were once left out, saving the old-fashioned way, with an unexpected saving spot, keeping it too close for comfort. But now, we found a better way to save and manage money. Download the Wendy app from Google Play or App Store or dial *229#. With Wendy, your money is safe and you can earn interest daily. Visit your Google Play or App Store or dial *229# to register. Wendy Wanawoli.
At Uganda Development Bank, we are committed to empowering communities by supporting projects that unlock excellent economic benefits for Ugandans through job creation, tax contribution, output value, and foreign exchange. We seek partnerships with projects that drive economic development in Uganda.
Wana tudiringa mu mwanyi, kulime mwanyi. Famu ya fenu, eri ku bugazi bwa hika 25. Manje zaffe za myaka ebiri kati bwe twatandikira okusimba. Kati bwe twatandikira twatandika n'eyika 10. Bwe twatandika eyika 10 twakola nga pilot project. Hakata aho esente zaali ntono nga bw'okimanyi wano mu Uganda. Kati nasalawo okutuukira UDB. Kati bwe yatukira UDB nawe tebaba babi sente bakola ki bazituweereza. Kati ne tutandika guno mulimu gwemukola ki gwe mulaba. Kati mu kutandika guno mulimu gwe mulaba tuguzeemu bingi kubanga olaba tuli ku drip system. Then kano twakata Israeli era ze sente ezimu ezakugula okuva Israeli. Then n'okutuyamba mu bakozi okusima the reservoir nezino control rooms zino gagola bagwe generator wateba jona yaba jona mu UDB. Wano ngaba libona abalone mu Uganda. Waliwo abesobola balima abatesobola. Batukire UDB. Banga etuyambye netwa buli kimu okutwaliza wamu mu UDB tufunyemu.
The Ministry of Health informs the general public that there are some cases of Mpox detected in Uganda. The ministry, working with partners and affected district local governments, are doing their best to contain the situation. The signs and symptoms of Mpox are body rash, fever, general body weakness, headache, sore throat, nasal congestion or cough, and swollen lymph nodes. You can prevent yourself from getting infected with Mpox by avoiding close contact with people who have been confirmed to have Mpox or who have signs and symptoms of Mpox. Avoiding touching or sharing personal items like beddings, eating utensils, phones, or other belongings of a person who has the signs and symptoms of Mpox. Avoiding contact, including eating, with all wild animals, alive or dead, especially those known to carry the virus, such as rodents and monkeys, and those that appear sick or have been found dead. Getting vaccinated if you're among those who have been identified to be at high risk of Mpox infection. Mpox is treatable and usually goes away after 2 to 4 weeks. However, it can be severe, causing even death, especially among children, pregnant women, and those with other health conditions. For more information and support, contact your nearest health worker. Call the Ministry of Health's toll-free line on 0800 100 066 or send a free SMS to YouReport on 8500.
Welcome back. This is News Tonight. The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has explained the urge for additional funding for the road construction of the roads including Laropi Moyo Afoji and Katuna Muko Kamuganguzi road projects. This additional funding is due to the late approval of detailed designs for the respective roads, which came after the project was approved in 2020. Government now seeks for a loan request of $15.2 million from the African Development Bank and $73.1 million from the African Development Fund to top up the already approved $235.4 million for the entire project. The Parliamentary Committee on National Economy, however, asked the Finance Ministry to present clearance from the President on the additional loan request as part of the requirements to process the loan.
Identified for construction include Namagumba, Budadiri Narugogo, Katuna Muko Kamuganguzi, and Laropi Moyo Afoji South Sudan Border Road. The loan request for the entire project was approved in 2020, amounting to $235 0.458 million. Apparently, it's only Namagunga Budadiri na Lugugu road works in progress. The Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development says the rest of the two roadworks had not secured approved designs, which caused delays. Henry Musasizi, the State Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, was in the Committee on National Economy to defend an additional loan request for the remaining two roads, which figures increased after the approved designs. The MPs sitting on this committee, chaired by Patrick Ikojo, were first hesitant to allow Minister Musasizi to front the concerns, citing insufficient documents.
I did not hear from him whether he has justified or he has shown to us that where the land will be acquired in accordance with the law. NEMA requires when you're implementing projects, you must acquire land in accordance with the law.
We are not sure whether those are the right documents. It's now on scrutiny that we shall be scrutinizing those documents one by one, and then we come up with our report to the House.
What they seem to want is the details about how we are getting it and those nitty-gritty. And we are going to put it in writing, all the issues that they have raised.
Government now seeks for a loan request of US dollars 15.222 million from African Development Bank and US dollars 73.15 million from the African Development Fund as an additional funding for this project. The request, if approved, will extend the entire cost of the project to US dollars 292.87 million, including the fiscal and price contingencies and the resettlement action plan.
So yes, it's one project, but we are signing two different agreements, one for the ADB window and the other for the ADF window.
Nevertheless, Minister Musasizi says the debt to GDP ratio is maintained currently at 46.86% compared to 47.40% at the end of June 2023.
The debt has been rising but still remains within the threshold as per the Charter of Fiscal Responsibility.
Minister Musasizi was tasked to present a clearance from the President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, as part of a presidential directive if a loan request is to be processed.
Move around and bring this fresh letter from the President. And without that letter, Mr. Chairman, sir, we would not even be wasting our time.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
And the Parliamentary Committee of Education and Sports is gathering submissions on the National Teachers Bill 2024. The bill intends to instill discipline and regulates the teaching profession. However, a section of members of Parliament on the committee felt that the bill should be rejected at its infancy, saying some clauses are incorporating with the Education Act of 2008.
Ministry of Education and Sports was the first group to present submissions on the National Teachers Bill 2024 to the Parliamentary Committee on Education and Sports. Led by the State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, the ministry in this bill emphasizes the requirement of teachers' qualifications to degree level.
Also provides savings of some provisions, transitions, and the schedules on pages 32 to 33.
The National Teachers Bill 2024 is complying for a transition in the profession where it proposes licensing of teachers and introduction of school practice by teachers.
Of somebody walking up and coming to teach minus getting a license, I think is going to protect the profession of teaching. Because anybody, somebody who knows a lot of math will come and go to class, but he doesn't have know the basics of how you handle students in class.
Some members of Parliament want the bill to collapse, calling it redundant, with no solutions to urgent gaps in the education sector.
Education Act of 2008. The responsibilities of stakeholders in education are well defined here. The minister is given powers to come up with policies whenever there is a need. The minister is given powers to come up with instruments whenever there is a need. So if there is a need on the issue of teachers, the minister has powers to either come up with a policy or come up with an instrument to address these issues. So, Mr. Chairman, I want to suggest that the minister should go back and read this act and see whatever this bill wants to address, if it can be addressed by amending this Education Act.
The State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, arrested the worries of the legislators, explaining the importance of the bill.
But out of the interaction and out of what we heard from the ministry, I think there's a likelihood that we shall have a win-win situation, that we shall amend what is not practical and we shall go by whatever is practical.
Lydia Chomkama and Gloria Gutabinji, Parliament.
Residents of Nabingo in Chengeda Town Council, Wakiso District, have staged protests involving the burning of tires and jerrycans as tensions escalate over a land dispute in Bataka village. The children of the late Charles Sali, together with local residents, expressed their dissatisfaction with the Presidential Task Force on Land Matters and Environment led by Brigadier General Moses Ruchamuzi, accusing the force of brutality against them.
The late Charles Sali's children claimed that Brigadier General Chamuzi had brought a tractor to clear over 15 acres of disputed land, allegedly with the support of soldiers and Bachifesi, causing chaos and distress among the residents.
Tuse atwetya Chamuzi nezi drone ne bakuba abantu ne basenda abantu ne batwanya mu drone babawamba tubikoye
civilian ebe baleta amaje ne bagatutunuzaamu olwokuba bagala okubba ettaka Henry n'ekigundu babe bamukozesa baveyo bayimirire mu family.
The ongoing dispute involves claims that the task force has employed excessive force in resolving land matters, prompting the local community to demand justice and accountability.
Ffe twali tutandise ozimba byonna ne babisenda biri ku ttaka
gula ku nettaka naye amaje galu Chamuzi buli we gajja kuno gatukuba batumenyera ebintu batumenyera amayumba nze bansanga kuno nga nnima n'abaana ne bankuba n'okugulu kwakyuka.
The village chairman Nabingo Mugera Nsanja has also voiced his frustration, accusing the task force's soldiers of torturing the residents without cause.
Nvumirwa nnyo ekikola ky'amagye okuyingira mu by'ettaka kubanga Saamayanja yasoma ekiwandiiko RDC yaliwo DPC yaliwo owa police ow'ensangi ng'agamba ettaka liddiziddwa family naye ate amajeje gava ne gajja ku ttaka ne gabisinda misana.
Both the residents and the family have appealed to the State Minister for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, and Minister Mile Babalanda to intervene and address the situation. Despite Dr. Mayanja's recent visit and verdict on the matter, the residents claim no action has been taken, leaving the land dispute unresolved and fueling their continued protests.
Earlier meeting which I convened to ask why the implementation is not proceeding, which was attended by various security organs, including the outfit of General Chamuzi. The police informed us that they have about 6 criminal charges already authorized, sanctioned by the DPP for charging Chigundu with various criminal allegations, but the charges were sanctioned.
The situation remains tense, with the local community calling for an end to the violent tactics used by the task force and seeking government intervention for a fair resolution. I'm Nafka Farida and Jamil Sekaja.
Meanwhile, the office of the National Chairperson of the NRM party has flagged off the party vote protection for 2026 general elections. The first Vice Chairperson of the NRM, Haji Moses Chigongo, launched the exercise at Chambogo in the presence of the NRM regional and sub-regional coordinators.
As the clock takes close at the 2026 general elections, the National Resistance Movement Party NRM is ensuring that preparations are done early enough. To this effect, the office of the National Chairperson of the National Resistance Movement Party has flagged off the NRM vote protection for 2026 general elections. While launching the exercise at Chambogo, the first vice chairperson of NRM, Haji Moses Chigongo, appealed to the NRM members who will be involved in vote protection to refrain from immoral acts.
We are sure you are going to do a good job for the movement. You are going to protect votes of the movement, not only for one person, but for the whole movement. But we don't want you to get involved in stealing votes or causing confusion in the public. Stand clean.
This launch now implies that the process of identifying members who will protect the NRM vote during the 2026 general elections has kicked off.
We are sorting out those who are going to work with us during the time of elections. Because on election day, people become busy. You must have polling agents. Yes, the election is still 2026, but it's not too early to start preparing. For us, we prepare early in the movement. We make adjustments when we move. If we have got something wrong, we correct it, we continue, and we move on.
Those who will be identified to protect the NRM vote will be expected to work closely with the Secretariat and other structures.
We didn't need people who are going to easily be compromised. We needed fighters. People who feel empathy for him and the system. People who can stand their ground. And people who can fight for the vote and as well protect it.
One of the functions of the Office of the National Chairperson for NRM Party is to ensure protection for the vote of the NRM presidential candidate in general elections.
This is the first phase. We have the second phase after 2 weeks. So, whatever you're doing, just know that you won't be fighting Hadija Namyalo, you would be fighting yourself in case of any errors.
Rebecca Natongo, Joseph Muyingo, UBC News.
Meanwhile, leaders from the Lango sub-region have expressed concern that the ongoing political rift between the Health Minister, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, and Gender Minister, Betty Amongi, could negatively impact the National Resistance Movement Party in the upcoming general elections. These concerns...
Richard Odong is spearheading the party's NRM Secretary General Right Honourable Richard Odong is spearheading the party's consultation drive in the Lango sub-region. On Wednesday afternoon, Odong held a meeting with the leaders from across the Lango sub-region in Rhda district. During the meeting, which was attended by politicians, technocrats, religious leaders, opinion leaders and heads of security, it was pointed out that the NRM-UPDF alliance, internal conflicts and the rift between Ministers Betty Amongi and Jane Ruth Acheng pose a potential threat to the party's success in the 2026 elections.
We know that there are two ministers who are struggling for one constituency, and it has generated a lot of excitement in Lango, negative excitement of course, but we think at the right time these matters are going to be handled effectively and there will be advice on how to behave as senior leaders, because what goes on amongst them is affecting our members at the grassroots.
Also in attendance was the senior presidential advisor Sam Ingola, who echoed similar concerns.
Fighting each other, talking rumor, reporting each one, saying this thing which does not help.
Some attendees, including a Parkman Member of Parliament, called for the dissolution of the NRM-UPDF alliance to strengthen the party's position.
Are we trying to condemn or we are just massaging? We are going to people massaging marriages in Lango, and then at the end of the day we condemn Lango for not doing the right thing.
That UPC is disorganizing everybody. It's not only Lira City. Is disorganizing me in Molatar, is disorganizing Okotogong in Dokolo. They want to go and invade and disorganize Obua in a jury.
This marriage of UPC and NRM Secretary General, that marriage must be divorced. When they separate. which is causing huge problems to us.
Tudong was accompanied by NRM directors Emmanuel Dombo, Awich Paula, the party's electoral commission chairperson Dr. Tango Doi, among others.
Decided, Honorable Bench has not doing anything. We have no business with her. Unless you join what? I'm talking to you leaders. And I'm talking in your face. You've been talking there to me inside of you. Honorable Betty Among has not yet joined NRM. So we need no business with the person who has not joined NRM. If she's disturbing NRM, tell her you are not yet what? NRM.
You are the local person down there in the grassroots, at the villages, at the village level, are looking for service deliveries, are looking for what they can do to fight poverty. Now, this should be the concerns of leaders, not to fight one another.
The consultation meeting will be followed by community barazas, where the Secretariat will engage with the fishing community, the youth, and the wetland encroachers. Robert Onyango and Edward for UBC News.
And over 19 chief justices from the southern and eastern African countries will convene in a week-long conference aimed at exploring ways to enhance justice in their respective jurisdictions. The conference is scheduled to take place at Munyonyo in Kampala from the September 30th to 5th October.
To prepare, just 3 minutes and they're ready. You can have them anywhere.
Indomie Instant Noodles is available in 3 flavors of chicken, beef, and vegetable. Buy your Indomie Instant Noodles in supermarkets and dukas near you anywhere across Uganda.
Indomie Instant Noodles, Uganda's best loved noodles.
Uganda Manufacturers Association celebrates 30 years of industrial excellence. Come and be part of the 30th UMA International Trade Fair at Lugogo from the 2nd to the 10th of October. We celebrate 30 years of industrial excellence with an education pavilion, an agricultural pavilion, and a job skills development pavilion for job seekers. There will be lots of fun, entertainment, and business opportunities. Come and be part of this great journey and milestones. Entrance fee is only 10,000 shillings. If you want an exhibition stall, call +256 0703 552 444 or visit the UMA website, powered by Total Energies, Hisense, Smart Tech, and Stanbic Bank.
The East Africa UK Tourism and Culture Expo 2024 is here, happening on 8th and 9th of November 2024 under the theme Enhancing Tourism as Engine for Social and Economic Transformation on the sidelines of WTM London at the Rembrandt Hotel, 11th Thalo, PI South Kensington, London, SW7 2RS, United Kingdom. The guest of honor will be the Right Honourable Rebecca Kadaga. For tickets, exhibitors will pay £1,000 and participants will pay £300. For more information, call +256 787 096 100 or +254 795 806 969. Visit www.eauktourismexpo.com to register.
Business DFCU Bank has launched the Grow Loan Program, an initiative by government supported by the World Bank aimed at empowering women entrepreneurs in Uganda. At the regional launch held at Owino Market's DFCU branch, women have been trained and given advisory services on how to make the best of this loan.
The Generating Growth Opportunities for Women Enterprises Grow Loan Program, an initiative by the government of Uganda and supported by the World Bank, is set to offer loans ranging from Ugandan shillings 4 million to 200 million to fully and largely operated businesses by women.
We are very excited that the Grow program is going to help us to further our agenda of promoting women with financing, with business advisory services. And so for us, this Grow program is significant because as a bank, women are critical. They are the drivers of this economy in the micro and small enterprise sector. And so we think that this program will definitely come to enhance their ability to grow their businesses and be able to contribute significantly to this economy.
Kiza Kate, the executive director of DFCU Bank, notes that women are to receive training on effective financial management and enjoy payment discounts on the loan.
Provide cheaper capital for the ladies in order to expand. The money is at 10% per annum for the ladies in this market. So I welcome all the ladies. Every lady should tell another one to actually come and benefit from this as we grow ourselves.
The GROW initiative seeks to bridge the financial gap faced by women-led businesses, promoting economic growth and self-sustainability.
That is one of the complaints that has been amongst the ladies who are borrowing in Uganda, especially the downtown ladies who are working to earn something. Previously, they've been borrowing between 20 and 30%, but with GROW, it is only at 10%.
This program aims to guide informal women entrepreneurs to formalize their businesses with sustainable financial support. Kain Faith for UBC.
And that does it for News Tonight. Thank you for sticking with us. Elizabeth Nakakuni on Sign Language. I am Rhda Ngonzi. Have yourselves a lovely night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. Africa Mashariki Fest invites you for the pilgrimage to Butiama, Mwalimu Nyerere's ancestral home and resting grounds to commemorate 25 years after his passing and marking a silver jubilee for the revived East African community. This October 14th, 2024, under the theme, Espousing Mwalimu Julius Nyerere's Enduring Legacy and Values, Lessons for Mother Africa. Join us to reflect on a journey of unity, peace, and prosperity. Immerse yourself in nature's beauty and history with a drive through Serengeti National Park. Visit Mwalimu's Mausoleum, Museum, Butiama